What is cracking with you, YouTube? It's your man King Howie. Welcome back to Cage TV. Interesting games yesterday with the Texans having a comeback win against the Buffalo Bills, putting them out of the playoffs, and them not being able to have a playoff win since 1995. And then the shocker, the shock wave hit yesterday when the Tennessee Titans ran the ball down the New England Patriots' throats the whole game. Derrick Henry had 182 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Tannehill made two great pass plays to the tight end to eliminate the New England Patriots. All of the Brady bandwagon lovers and all of the Brady haters. Well, the Brady haters are rejoicing, and the Brady bandwagon and Patriot fans, they're salty this morning, blaming the refs for Tom Brady losing. Will that be the last game Tom Brady plays in? Who knows? I really don't give a shit. I'm just mad that my Super Bowl pick, the New England Patriots, didn't live up to their legacy as, being that team to be afraid of. I think after seeing what we seen yesterday, I don't think the New England Patriots, I think it might be a while for them until they get back to a Super Bowl, depending on if Brady stays, Belichick stays, Josh McDaniel stays. There's going to be some changes with the New England Patriots this offseason. So can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. But with that being said, let's get into this shit. First game on the docket, we have the Minnesota Vikings facing off against the New Orleans Saints, who have a difficult road game in the playoffs. We all know about Kirk Cousins' playoff record. It's not pretty. They have a couple of defensive backs that are ruled out in this game. I forget who it is, but I think they're starters. Xavier Rhodes is still dealing with injuries. I think they have a linebacker that has a torn ACL that's out for the remainder of the playoffs and the season. Don't know how limited Delvin Cook will be in this game. He should be ready to rock and roll with that shoulder. I know he had the shoulder injury, but will he be 100%, and how effective will he be against the Saints defense? Even though we know that you can score on this Saints defense, they had a pretty good game, week 17 game against the Carolina Panthers, where the defense showed up, but it's the Carolina Panthers. Drew Brees, it's wide open for Drew Brees. This Super Bowl is wide open now. It's wide open. It is wide open for Drew Brees. It's wide open for Russell Wilson. It's wide open for Aaron Rodgers and a plethora of other players. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, who came up clutch against the Buffalo Bills. So it's wide open. But I think in this game, I think the Saints will be throwing the ball all over this defense. I think Jared Cook is going to be a matchup nightmare for the Vikings. I think Michael Thomas will have his looks, even though he has an injured hand. Traquan Smith, he might have a chance to make some big plays. Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray. I mean, Sean Payton's offensive play calling has been phenomenal this year. I don't understand why he's not in the running for Coach of the Year, but they want to give it to Kyle Shanahan. I think that's where it's going to go. But I think the Saints win this game. I don't know if it'll be a blowout, but, from the Minnesota Miracle that happened a few years ago, I think the Saints are going to be smelling blood, and they want revenge against the Vikings. As far as how well Kirk Cousins will perform, I have no clue what this dude is going to do. I mean, you got Kyle Rudolph and Stephon Diggs. Uh, you got Treadwell, who had a couple of good games this season when Adam Thielen was down, and who knows how healthy Adam Thielen is, you know? It's hard to, my homie called me last night and he was talking about this game, and he really think that the Vikings have a chance against the Saints. They do have a chance. I mean, I'm not going to say they don't, but it's in the Superdome. The crowd is going to be amped up. This team is going to be ready to rock and roll to beat the Minnesota Vikings. And it might get ugly early. It might get ugly early if the Vikings don't slow down this offense. And the Vikings offense is going to have to play exceptionally well. Not saying that they can't score on the Saints, because obviously you can. You can score on the Saints. The defense is not that great. But I'm rolling with the Saints. Next game, we have my God, the Seattle Shithawks against the Philadelphia Eagles. I was going back and forth with this game yesterday when I was coming back in town, and I kept thinking, like, man, the Seattle Seahawks got a lot of injuries. Russell Wilson hasn't been playing up to MVP standards the last few weeks of the regular season. Carson Wentz is on fire. The second string guys have stepped up tremendously. The run game seems to be effective for the Eagles with Scott and Sanders. Jordan Howard is, he should be ready to rock and roll. I think I don't know if Deshaun Jackson is back. He might be back. Alshon Jeffries, really don't know. But if the Eagles weapons start coming back, I think this is going to be trouble for the Seattle Seahawks. I really think it will be trouble for the Seattle Seahawks going on the road to Philadelphia. Yeah, they have Marshawn Lynch back, and DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Hollister, the tight end. It's just this offensive line, man. The offensive line for the Seattle Seahawks, they gotta get an offensive line for Russell Wilson. I believe Russell Wilson will probably have to scramble and make plays like he's done in the past in the playoffs. Who knows how effective the Seattle Seahawks run game will be. We seen what Saquon Barkley was able to do against the Eagles. He could run the ball on them. I'm expecting Marshawn Lynch to have one of his big playoff runs, where he bulldozing through linebackers and defensive backs and rumbling and bumbling down the field, and he finds a way to break for a long game. But I don't think he will score. I think he'll have that type of run. I really don't think Marshawn Lynch has his wind yet, because he had that one big run against the 49ers, and then he was running to the oxygen tank after that. So they're gonna have to rely on the Holmes. I forget his name. Holmes, I forget the backup running back name, third string running back's name, but he played pretty good. But I'm leaning towards the Eagles, man. So I'm rolling with the Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles to win today. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Seattle Seahawks went out there to Philadelphia and won. I wouldn't be shocked if Pete Carroll put together a game plan to stop Carson Wentz, and he was able to implement an offensive strategy to score on his defense. Because you can score on the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense is not that great. I mean, they have a decent pass rush, which I think will get to Russell Wilson. He will struggle with the pass rush, but I don't know, man. I just think the way that the Philadelphia Eagles are rolling right now, I just favor them more than I do the Seahawks in this matchup. So I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles over the Seattle Shithawks, and I'm going with the New Orleans Saints over the trash ass Vikings. With that being said, man, enjoy the playoffs today and be safe out there. I'm out.